What's up, you guys? Welcome to another amazing episode of Living Real TV. I'm Karissa Adkins.
And I'm Clara Capano.
And oh my gosh, have we got a show for everyone today.
Yeah.
Males, females, future alpha females. If you are watching today and you're like, I just don't know how to own my power and what am I? What is this alpha thing? Today's the episode that's going to be for you. And I'll be honest, I think before we dive in, we have some amazing guests, as you can see. You guys,
yes.
We have Dustin Chester and the one and only Will Adkins. And I say that because he's my husband and it's going to get heated today.
I know. I've been so excited about this episode because, I have been a strong woman my whole life, and sometimes that intimidates the other sex. And really being able to find out how I can still really be able to own my own strength, but not do it in a way that's going to diminish others. And talking about how we can leverage some of these strengths. But because we know that this is going to be a deep conversation, we can't do this without cocktails.
No,
so, Dion, I see some fire torches going on over here.
Ladies, it's about to get hot in here. And since we're going to be having heated conversation, what better way to do that than with a little bit of whiskey?
Oh, geez.
So,
you knew it. Did my husband tell you to serve me whiskey?
no, you didn't. So we're going to start out by smoking our glass with a little bit of cherry wood. So this is actually cherry plank.
Okay.
That's why
You
you're
never
getting that
cease
aromatic.
to amaze in what you bring to the table here.
Now, I've already done that with the other two glasses. And what I've done here is combined, basically I macerate cherries at home.
Okay.
And then I add them to whiskey and I let it sit. Kind of like I did with the apple cocktail on that one episode.
Yeah, 'cause who doesn't macerate cherries at home?
Yeah.
I know, I do that all the time.
And then I add a little bit of chocolate bitters and some cinnamon bitters to it.
Okay.
And it makes this wonderful cocktail. So I'm just going to add a little bit of this guy.
All right. So did you do the same thing with the bitters? I know you've taught us that the cinnamon, you can flavor your own bitters. Did you do it with this?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. So I have a lab in my basement, and I literally sit down there and think of ways to conquer the world, or just make people drink better beers.
Every guy's dream to have everything to make any cocktail down below, huh?
All right, and then we add a little bit of lime to that, so everybody knows cherry and lime just go together like
Karissa and Clara.
absolutely. And then we're just going to give this guy a little shake.
We are told that a good cocktail is in the shake. So,
the shake.
Yeah, so we now really watch the shake.
I'm kind of feeling like I could be sitting in a big, leather chair with, some books or something, a cigar, getting ready to have this kind of drink.
The smell of that wood burning, I think. Very comforting.
Feels like an alpha drink.
Oh, it is totally an alpha drink.
It's a total boss babe. And, men drink now. Man drink.
Yeah.
Man drink. We're going to pretend this is the man cave
I like
today.
it. We're in the man cave.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just having real talk with real men.
Well, you know what my wife and I always go back to whenever we disagree about something? I always remind her, and she sometimes has to remind me because I'm always the voice of reason, that it's us versus the world, not each other. And so I always appreciate that from her whenever it's my turn to go a little bit nuts about something. Like, I hate drive-through eating.
Yes.
And every now and then we have to get food for the kids, and drive-through people are just unreasonable. Anyway, here we go. These are cherry woods. Now, you can find these on the menu at Proof 192 and Proof Midtown in Omaha, Nebraska. So if you ever get a chance to check them out, you'll definitely see these cocktails there and enjoy.
Beautiful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, here we go. Let's go.
Cheers, you guys.
Cheers. Thank you for being here.
Yes. Thank you for being such amazing guests.
Yeah.
That's true.
You can really smell and taste those cherries in it. And I love the idea of the smoked glass.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Did he
I
say
know.
that the smoked glass changed the flavor, or is it just like the finesse of it all?
I think it's a little bit of both. I
Okay.
can taste it.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
fantastic.
Well, cheers to Dion for making
I
yet
know.
another classic cocktail for us.
All right, so before we get into
Love it.
to all the good and the high-level conversations here,
Yes.
we always have a question of the day. And today our question is, if you could go anywhere in the world, where would you go? So we'll leave it up to you to decide if you want to go with or without your significant other. So Dustin, let's start with you. Where would you go if you could go anywhere in the world today?
Oh wow! So for me, like one of my like bucket list items that I want to do is I want to go to Australia, go off the coast, and then I want to go into the ocean and just touch a great white shark in a cage. So for me,
Is the shark going to be in the cage, or are you going to be in the cage?
just me. So that's like my all-time thing that I want
Okay.
to do. So for me, unfortunately, I don't think Carrie would join me because
Yeah.
she's not a water person. She's kind of
Okay.
a cat. So,
Okay.
But that would be my all-time thing that I'd love to do.
Would you take her there to Australia and then
Oh
she
yeah,
could go
for
do her
sure.
thing?
Yeah,
and then-
absolutely. I'd
yeah.
try to force her on the boat. You know, maybe try to trick her and deal with the consequences afterwards.
You can get a tan on the boat.
I don't think it'll work, but we'll see. You know.
Nice.
Different agendas.
Exactly.
Babe, what about you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so along with him, I would say Australia, but since he already said that, you know, we've been talking about Greece lately. I would love to go there, right? We both love Greek food, and,
Yeah.
and you know, a chance to finally see that side of the world. I've been all over the world, but not there. So
Yeah. And these
Fantastic.
guys, like, they're both military. They're both active duty. And so it's crazy when, like, these guys get to go a lot of different places. So to hear that you want to go to Australia and you want to go to Greece, it's just like, it's really awesome. I'm like, man, you've been everywhere.
I
Like,
know.
I'm jealous of you guys. And okay, all right. Are
So
you?
what about you?
You know, I think my top is Fiji. You know, I see in those magazines the little houses and huts on the water, and you can see the water underneath it. I just think that would be really amazing. So it's the magazines that planted that seed. And of course, I would want to go with Will for sure. That's one of the things that we love to do is explore, and we love travel. It's definitely something we love, trying new foods. Even if I'm like, I don't know, he's like, just do it, and then he does have to trick me into some things. And it's not spicy, babe. Lies, right? so yeah, I would definitely want to explore Fiji with Will.
Yeah. Fiji is definitely on my list,
Is
that
it?
whole area. And one of the things I told Nicholas I would do when he graduates high school is take him anywhere in the world. And he just came back with he wants to go to Bora Bora area, Fiji. So hopefully I'll be
That's so
having that
cool.
happen in the next year and a half. You know, for me, I'm always down with a good beach, but you know, my sister trip, we take a sister trip every year, and we haven't been able to really go anyplace international because of COVID.
Yeah.
So we are looking at it. I really am feeling a draw. I want to go to Cuba. So that is on
What's
my
the
list.
driving force for Cuba?
You know,
for you?
I really want to go to Cuba because one, it seems very, I'll say mysterious, because not everybody has been able to go there because it has been on lockdown. But also, when I look at the pictures, you know, it looks like old Hollywood. And I really would love to get to Cuba before Walmart and Starbucks get there and colonize, so I can see it in all its glory.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, I can get behind that for sure. I don't know. Yeah, I had an old boss. He actually has a house in Roatan, and he was like, Karissa, you guys should come. You should come. And so one day I'm like, and I just, you know, I see him every now and then, and I'm like, Will and I are gonna come. Like, we're gonna take you up on this whole Honduras trip because we want to go. But yeah, Roatan will be, I'm assuming.
Another one.
Yeah.
There's so many wonderful places to go.
And, you know, it was just we were just flying. Where were we going, babe? We were going to California for a speaking event that I did. And you know, on the cocktail, well, we fly Southwest, and the cocktail, it says, you know, where do you want to go? And it literally lists like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I've never really been uber mindful in an airplane. Like when it comes to a napkin, I'm like, just give me my coffee, please. Thank you. And yeah, I noticed it, and I pulled out a pen and I started writing, and I just, you know, and then I quietly, right, with our masks on. It was hard to do. I literally gave him the pen, and then he like wrote, and then I wrote, and then so it was just like a fun thing, but just being super mindful on the airplane with where we want to go. It's kind of cool.
I love it.
Yeah.
Great. Well, we're gonna, being that we're alpha females, we're gonna take control here.
Yeah,
We're gonna
yeah.
start diving in. So, what we want to talk about today is both the beauty and also the pitfalls, possibly, of dating, marrying, partnering with an alpha female, both in the personal setting as well as in the professional setting. So I guess what I would love to do is, let's sort of define, first of all, what does it mean to be an alpha female?
Yeah.
So, Karissa, for you, when you define it and own it for yourself, what does that even mean for you?
Yeah, well, I think it's a woman who's, kind of fearless, who's willing to take courageous steps without seeing the full picture ahead, trusting herself that she's going to get shit done, right? Like, I literally get it done, and I will find a way to survive. So for me, the alpha is I'm not afraid to own my power, to step into to a room and say, hi, I'm Karissa, this is me, and I'm not afraid to, if you don't like me, I'm not afraid of the, that Karissa. I'll be like, cool, you're not my people, and I'll find other alphas to hang out with. They are hard. Would you agree it's hard to find females who are not alphas and not catty? Because there are a lot of catty women out there that are just trying to step on you and over you to get to their success.
Exactly. Yeah, I think a true alpha is someone that knows her power, but also wants to encourage others to step into their power.
Yeah.
So I would love to hear from the male perspective because, women might define it differently. So Will, when I say someone's an alpha female, what does that mean for you?
I agree with everything that you have both said. The biggest thing that, I see an alpha female being is somebody that's always a go-getter and somebody that never makes excuses, right? Like we said, I'm married to an alpha, right? She never makes excuses. And when she does, I call her on it. And she is, we have enough respect for both of us that we realize, that's an excuse, right? And we move past that. So,
we need that. Yeah. We need that. That's hard to find in a partner, someone who's willing to call you out in the most loving, sincere way, because he, like I look at it as he just wants what's best for me, and if he's calling me out, it's because he knows that I'm capable of more.
It's again coming from that place of not putting someone down, but coming from a place of love. So great.
100%.
Dustin, what about for you?
Yeah, I mean, kind of hard to follow up with everything. You guys kind of nailed everything, but same things. Just fearless, confident, just ready to take the next step, regardless of whatever the outcome is going to be, because they're so confident in what they're doing, what they believe in. So absolutely, all the same things that you said. Just fearless and confident, and ready to take the next step and go after it.
And we obviously brought Dustin on in season 2. We are interviewing his wife, and I would say that she is very much an alpha. Yeah. Would you say that you are married to an alpha?
Yes, very much so.
Okay. Okay. So confident, independent. These are all qualities that you see in her for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I wanted to have this episode a little bit for some shameless reasons for me because, I'm a single girl here. And, one of the things out there is when I'm, dating and talking to men, they're attracted to my confidence. They're attracted to my wanting to go out there and get things done. And then after a few dates, it intimidates them and they disappear. So I really struggle with, that balance that comes in. So, what are some of the things that, really attract you to a confident female, in what you're looking for? But then how do you also not let it, how can I, as a woman, also not shut them down? Does that make sense?
Away. Yeah.
Who wants to dive in?
Yeah. I'll go first. So it took me 2 years to say hi to Karissa.
Really?
Yeah, 2 years. 2 years in the gym. Every single morning, I saw her every single morning. And I was like, she's a go-getter. She betters herself every single day. And I was like, you know what, I can relate to that, right? Because I was there too. So, I went up and I said hi. And, we just were like, hey, let's work out together. We're both here every day. And I realized after that, right, that she was a go-getter like me. And for me, that's awesome because I want a teammate. I don't want a wife per se. I want a teammate that I know will always have my back. So and then from there it just continued on. So,
but I love that for 2 years you were a little bit intimidated. You didn't know quite how to approach it.
Yeah, kinda.
And as an alpha, I was nervous as hell. I mean, we put on a great face, right? I'm like, I own this gym. I walk into it every day and it's my playground, right? Like that's how I view the gym. Because it's hard for a female, first off, to go into the weight room. A lot of women have that issue of I don't belong over there with the men. So automatically I'm like kind of put out there differently with the women. And I see that in my industry. So I feel like I could speak on that a little bit. But yeah, I mean, he came up and I was like, oh snap, it's 5 a.m. Like I don't look good. I wasn't expecting someone to say hello.
You weren't there to date, you were there to work out.
Yes, I'm not there to socialize even. Like I had an hour right before, I had to get to work and shower and like this is my routine. And then to put a handsome man that walks up to me and I'm like, right? Okay, yeah, my name is Karissa. You'll never remember it, right? Like, and you buffalo over like. So even though I'm very confident in who I am, I'm still a human. I still feel the nerves. I still get, fear of like, oh, well, what if I say something stupid? Like who knows? But yeah, that's our foundation. And it just goes. We're all vulnerable.
Yeah.
But we have to take risks. You took a risk. I took a risk. By saying hi back, and I actually gave him my card, like a true boss, right? I was like, if you ever want to work out, here's my card. You can text me, and the rest they say is history.
Yeah, I love it. So Dustin, what is it for you? What kind of attracts you to a strong woman?
So for me, it's just the drive that my wife has, obviously, and just not afraid to do anything and take risk, but then also, there's another side to it where you kind of have to, support and help her out help them out along the way. But I think the biggest thing is to what you were saying is communication and compromise is the key. So I think if you lay out the key things and it's expected and they know kind of what's going on, then it makes handling the alpha female a lot easier. It's like if you get a den alliance together, usually everything's good. Sometimes there might be a couple issues, but they figure it out. So
the advice you're saying for Clara, because you got a question in there at the beginning, right? It's like, how can I better myself so that I'm not? Because yes, it is. So the thing would you say at the beginning is kind of addressing the fact that like, listen, I'm driven and I'm very focused and I have goals. And I'm needing someone who will walk beside me and support you.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I think if that's just laid out from the get-go and they kind of know, and if not, it's gonna work itself out.
Take a hike if you're not ready for that.
It's gonna save yourself some time, and it's gonna figure itself out. So yeah, absolutely.
I love that.
Right.
I love that. I want to dive into challenges.
Okay.
Maybe it's the whiskey. I don't know. I'm getting like risky here with these questions. Challenges. Sometimes, as an alpha, I feel my last marriage, he was not an alpha. He was a man who, yes, supported me, but never encouraged me to go to the next level, never challenged me, never called me out on my BS, and never could address the honesty of, you're getting overweight, right? You're becoming unhealthy, you're depressed, you're sad. Like, he never wanted to address that. And at those years, I was not an alpha, right? That was not a confident woman. I was, like I said, I was sad and, I was miserable, and I would have just let any man walk over me. I wasn't quite ready to own what was inside at one point, because I do believe it's in there. But there was challenges with that because he never lifted me any higher, right? And the challenge then with marrying an alpha is now, he now does challenge me. So there are times where he'll call me out and I'm like, you know what? I don't really want to hear about it right now. Like, okay. But I respect the fact that you said it. So I kind of take it with a grain of salt. And then like a week later, I'll like repeat something he said. And he's like, you do listen to me. I'm like, yeah, I do listen to you, right? It's that compromise that you said, Dustin. But babe, what would you say, our challenges? So not only are we alphas, but he's a Scorpio, if you follow all of that, and I'm an Aries. And we're totally too driven. We butt heads, quite a bit, but
driven and stubborn.
Yeah, driven and stubborn. What would you say are some of your challenges that we face that we overcome because we are a great team? But what would you say our big challenges are?
Like you said, we butt heads quite often, but it's because we both want to be right. And then, the biggest thing with that is like, just, you know, realizing that we probably both are right, but there's so much passion behind it that typically we need to take a break and then we'll come back and have, you know, a normal conversation about it. But yeah, I think just the passion behind, you know, wanting to be right with the things that, you know, we encounter.
Well, and I think it's also, I want to be right, right? We all want to be right. And in our own minds, we are right. We're like, no, I've thought of everything. But what I love that even as an alpha for you is you will sit back and you can also take ownership when you're not right. And I don't know if I do that. Probably it's something I can work on.
He's like, I don't know. I don't remember ever being wrong.
Yeah, he's like, wait a minute. Was I ever? There are times I think it's that give and take where I'm like, you're right. You know, like I could do more. I could do or I need to do less. Right? Last night walking, we just filmed so much episodes, and you know, he had to call me out. You know, I got in the car and I started looking at social media like a lot of us do. Hadn't checked in, hadn't checked email, and he is like, babe, are you here? Right? Are you here with us? Like it's our time. And I was like, oh. As much as I was like, I haven't been, you know, like I wanted to come to defense, but I was like, put the phone in the purse. Right. You're right.
And I think it all goes back to, you know, what you were bringing up before about this idea of communication. You know, I think sometimes you have to be able to say, right now I just need you to listen and not try to fix it. And I know because even though traditionally men like to fix things, you know, that doesn't mean they always want us to fix them too. Right. And so I think sometimes, you know, responding, you know, what is it that you need? I know that in relationships that I've had, you know, I would go to them and say, do you want me to respond to this as your girlfriend or as a coach? Because it's two very different things that we're looking at. So have you come across any challenges, because your wife is also very strong, you know, so how do you guys maneuver through some of the challenges?
So, you know, we've been married for 12 years now, and we just kind of have each other figured out. So I think initially when we were, you know, first married, it's just finding each other's strengths and then supporting those strengths and knowing, okay, well, if she's very passionate about this, I know that that's not one of my strengths, so I should probably just take the back seat and let her take control of this one. Or, you know, and sometimes it's the opposite too. It's just, you know, there to support each other is the biggest thing, and just learn that over time.
Yeah. How did you figure, you said learning each other, right? Was there, and 12 years, that's a long gap, like when did you really think that you know, kind of figured out each other, or did you literally sit down and say, okay, babe, like, you're really great at this, I'm really great at this, like how did you figure it out? We love to give strategies and tips, so it's like, and a lot of couples can't compromise and can't take a back seat. So what would be your advice to them? You
know, I think it's just experiences for the most part. So if you're both open to sitting down and having those conversations of like, hey, I'm really, really good at these things, and then, you know, she says I'm really good at these things, and then kind of figure it out from there. But, you know, for us, I don't think that we ever did that. It was just more along the lines of just, you know, things that happen in life to where, you know, being military and, you know, you get the call and, hey, I need you in Chicago in 30 days, so I need you to sell your house, pick up your family, and move to Chicago in 30 days. You're like, holy cow, how are we going to figure this out? And then, you know, just going through that experience together and learning each other, and then, you know, kind of rinse, repeat with the military, which I'm sure you can relate to.
So you both take a team approach?
Yeah, we try to. Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that that's a really great way to approach it is because you really are a team.
Yeah.
You know, and a great team has different personalities, has people with different strengths that they bring to the table. And so I think remembering that at the end of it, you know, you are a team in what we're doing. So, you know, there's just so many things. And I know that when we come back in our second half, we want to really dive into, you know, some other strategies. And I want to talk about some of the differences in the workplace. You know, some of the things that a woman can bring to the table to maybe help being a leader, but then also, again, some of the pitfalls that we can do, you know, in helping us be better leaders as women.
Yeah, and I definitely want to dive into, we want to do better, be better.
We want to do better and be better. We want to be the best.
Do better, be better. And so I want to know, you guys, just kind of be thinking over a break, I want to know what we can do better at so that we can be a better wife, a better partner for you guys. You know, we don't want to run the show per se. We want you to run it with us and run I'm building an empire and I want you beside me with it. I don't want you in the back seat. I want you with me. And so, yeah, I would love to just think of some things that, we could do as female alphas to improve our relationships. So
not to diminish our strengths, but to enhance them. And again, be there, because the last thing that, we really want is to take anything away from other people. At the same time, don't get in our way, because we're going forward. So, it's a fine dance. So I am really excited to continue this conversation. Yes. So for all of you out there, stay tuned. We are going to continue our conversation of what it means to work with, marry, be with, and enhance the alpha female.
365 Daily Hustle is a global health coaching company helping purpose-driven women boss up and get healthy so that they can truly show up and thrive in the world. We help women lose weight, gain energy, and feel sexy and confident in their bodies. We help women create sustainable habits that support a positive mindset, nutrition, exercise plans, stress relief, and of course, self-care. If you're tired of feeling like a failure when it comes to your weight loss and health goals, please visit our website at 365dailyhustle.com or join the Healthy Hustle Facebook community today for healthy tips, recipes, workouts, and more.
You guys, we are back and we are talking all about alpha females and how we can now improve ourselves as alpha females, because we need to improve. We need to be striving to be better, and our intentions are never to just run the show, right? That's a common phrase. And we are with, our guests today, my husband, Will Adkins, and Dustin Chester. Both, first off, I just want to say thank you for serving, right? You're Definitely. Both active duty in the military, and you both actually, even though, babe, you're not in, you don't work with me per se, but you are a part of my team. You are, you help me in my business, but your wife, you guys have a business, right? You have kids, you have a full life.
Yeah.
So yeah, with that, we really want to talk about how, and let's just take out the word alpha, right? At the end of the day, the alpha is, she's the BossUp Babe. She's the woman who's a great leader who has no problem standing up for herself. And we see that in companies, we see that in organizations, we see that in our military. So where do you think, right, taking our traits, taking what a boss babe is, how can that enhance the organizations? How can that enhance the companies, if they're out hiring? Why would they want or need to hire a BossUp Babe? Yeah.
I'll be honest, right? I would always look for an alpha, whether it be a female or whether it be a male, because I know that they're go-getters, they're not going to make excuses, and they're going to get the job done. Okay. And they're going to do it to precision, right? So that whether it's a male or a female, it doesn't matter to me. Right, I would take an alpha any day of the week. So
that's crazy you mentioned that. We when we interviewed women for the military, honoring our women in the military, they said the very similar answer. So I asked a question. I said, are there certain jobs that women in the military probably should stay away from due to just our body physique and everything? And she goes, I don't care. She responded beautifully. Sure. I think it was your wife. She said, I do not care. The guideline is this, and you can meet it. You can be on the team.
Yep, absolutely.
And I'm like, that's the same approach. So I love that.
What would you say?
Yeah, so, with what he was saying, I think that, alphas, especially, females, is just the fact of the way that they can call people on their things, and they're not afraid to do it whatsoever. So being able to communicate, effectively and efficiently with other staff members or employees, it just makes the organization that much better to when they can clearly communicate and say, hey, you're not meeting this expectation, and there's zero fear for them to do that. Yeah.
Do you notice at all any different maybe traits or different ways that women as leaders approach things differently than their male counterparts that could be better? Do they tend to bring in a higher level of empathy maybe, or do they have a different way of listening or communicating? Have you noticed any differences in a positive light of how women communicate?
I would say so, yeah. I could definitely see that they're, a little bit more empathetic towards situations to where, like a military situation to where, I might not be as empathetic, like, hey, I'm sorry, that sucks, but you were late. Why were you late? To where, like, yeah, I can totally relate with that. but I'm gonna need you to do a little bit better.
Yeah.
Versus
We
a
pull
different,
in that, we relate
Yeah,
with you,
yeah.
but get it done.
way different, package and delivery.
That's
a little
a great
bit
way to
I
put
like
it.
that.
A little bit softer, and it's more effective, I think. So.
Okay, a little bit more effective.
So, well, what about you? Do you notice any differences in any of the women leaders that you've come across?
So I'll just echo exactly what he said. Right, they bring a more empathetic approach to their leadership, and so some people appreciate that, and some people don't. Right, some people like direct. But yeah, I agree 100% with what he said.
Yeah.
You're in corporate,
I am.
right? Why do you think you were hired for certain roles? Let's turn the table on us, because I as well, right? I worked in a 27 men environment, right? And I took on kind of second in command, and if you will, between the marketing and the HR, and then it became business strategist, so like for marketing and everything. So why do you think that you hold the role so well?
I think it is just bringing in that different perspective, because at the end of the day, we do need to look at the results and get to the results, because any organization, regardless of size, it's result driven.
Yeah.
But I think, again, I think women are really good at asking deeper level questions and getting more into the why behind it, and they tend to slow things down a little bit. I think just, in general, they do a little bit more of the relationship building, because they want to build, I think, just more community inside an organization. So it's not just, come to work, it's come and build a community, build a group. Those are some of the things that I feel.
Because we come with like nourishment, right? Like women are just naturally nourishers, most of us. My approach isn't as soft either as some other nourishing moms, but yeah, so I remember when those guys would come in, I'm like, I hear you, and I see your side. But at the end of the day, I'm here to do X.
Right.
And you're hired to do X. And if you can't do X, I've got to let you go. And I always ended it with, this is not a personal thing, this is a business thing. Because they would always, they almost would play on that. They're like, oh, good, Carissa's going to fire me. Like, in a sense, right? Carissa's calling a meeting. But I had to put my foot down very quickly to know that just because I'm a woman, you're not going to walk all over me, and you're not going to, you're paid to do a job.
Yeah.
Get it done. I don't care.
Yeah.
And when they realized that, then they knew. They're like, okay, we actually don't want to have the meeting with Karissa. We'd rather have it with the owner.
Well, and I have found, because I worked for a long time, I was in leadership at a large real estate firm, and my counterpart was a man. And it really was. I had to be the hard ass all the time.
Like,
I was always bad cop. But I think it's because, and I asked him one time, and he said, you're just more approachable. And I think, sometimes they think it's gonna be a little bit softer, and we have a little bit more permission to do those. And I think one of the best examples we had was when we were interviewing the women in the military. One of our guests was talking about how her leader brought in cupcakes and how they were really surprised. And it was the perfect contrast of the yin and the yang of being a strong leader.
She was a hard ass, and everyone feared her.
Everyone feared her, but she brought in these cupcakes because she said, I never want to lose the human element.
Yeah.
And I think, and sometimes it's a shame, because I think men sometimes feel maybe they can't bring in that softer side, because it's not
For what? Why
manly.
are the reason?
Why are? I don't know. Do you
Where
ever
does this
feel
come
that?
from, you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, no idea. I have no idea. I can't explain it. It's just there.
Huh. It's just how like men are naturally, like Will always says, if emotions were, what do you say? If emotions were needed or something, we would have been issued them.
Yes. They weren't issued
Lock
to
it
us.
down.
So-
And sometimes we need to. We have to play into that.
Right.
Like, okay, it's not an emotional
Yeah,
thing.
and I think that is a strength that most women have over most men. Again, just talking in generalities here, but I think that women are given a little bit more permission to be softer. And a lot of men, are not. And I think that's another thing that could make us great leaders, is because we can bring in the softer side. So
your business. Tell me about your business, because I hear it's all women that you work with.
Yes, it is. So we started a business. It's called Blue Moon Estate Sales.
Okay.
And we just we wanted to help people and go out on a limb. And one day Carrie was just like, you know what, I don't want to do this corporate job anymore. It's just not the way I want to go. And we're going to start our own business. And I'm like, sure, okay, cool.
the typical response when an alpha female says we're doing
These
something,
things
okay.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't argue.
Yeah, so we just dove right in, and she's really taken the ball and ran with it to where I'm like, I was thinking like it'd be something I could do with her, after I get out, and she is just absolutely owning it and crushing it to where I'm like, I'm just gonna see where this goes. This is amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a very cool. We love to help people, close one chapter to help fund the next chapter for them, and it's really cool to see the people that we get to help.
Yeah.
And you do have so it's predominantly her show right now. It's her baby, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Okay. And but it doesn't matter. She still comes home to you and talks to you about things, and you guys have a team. And her, would you say her alpha traits help build a really, really great team? Does she bring in? What are some of those traits that she really are, her values that are important to her that she tries to instill?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, she's just extremely confident, and there's just no skip of a beat to anything, and she's just, hey, ladies, this is what needs to happen, and they make it happen. And so if there's a schedule conflict where there's a kid activity going on or something, I'll maybe jump in. And it's funny because the other ladies there will be like, no, this is what we're doing because this is how the boss
says it.
Like, whatever the boss says, let's roll with that.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It's funny how that carries over, but yeah, it's great.
Okay, and
go ahead.
one more for you, and then you can ask Will whatever. So how many? You have 5 kids, 6 kids?
We have 6 kids.
6 kids.
Yes.
How many girls?
So we have 4 girls and 2 boys.
Any of them alphas? Can you see future alphas?
Yes, definitely alphas in the household for sure.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I love that. So I want to, let's get real and let's get into it because we do want to get better. We want to be able to be the best at what we can do. We want to be able to be the best in leadership so that we can help open others up. We want to be the best on the home front with our significant others so that we can have those teams with our partners and build love. So we need you to be honest with us. What are some things that we can do better as strong women that aren't going to diminish us or our relationships? So who wants to dive in?
I'll go first.
He's like, let me get my list on.
Hold on.
Right. So, we talked about it earlier a little bit. You're not always right.
Yeah.
Right. And just realizing that I'm not always right either, and trying to find what right looks like as a team. Right. I think that's the biggest one that we come into contact with.
So we can get better at not being so defensive and not fighting so much and just being able to acknowledge the value that you could bring and that you may have a different side to seeing it that could also be right.
And he does have to always remind me. I mean, and our relationship is a little different dynamic because, we just got married. Like my kids come with me, right? They're not his, and vice. He's a beautiful son, and it's just so. Mama Bear and Alpha wants to protect. He's always like, okay, Mama Bear needs to take a seat here. And remember, I'm your teammate. You're not fighting me. And he always has to remind me, like, we are not fighting each other here. We need to stand together. And I want to, just really dive in a little bit more on the team concept because I've never even heard of this. In 15 years of marriage, I never thought my ex and I felt like a team, right? We were always at battle. We were always just like, well, he would say, you do you, and I'll just be in the background. And so when Will said, I'm not looking for a wife, I'm looking for a teammate, like a teammate for life. And I'm like, that's good. That's good because teams don't leave people behind. They don't, it's not always going to be freaking roses and, it's not all nice things, but he has to remind me that we are a team quite often. And then it's on me to sit and reflect of, well, why am I fighting him on this? It's always a me thing. It's never a Will thing.
Yeah.
You're normally super pouty when you do that.
Yeah, well, I am pouty, you guys. We'll put that out there. Where's the tissues? And it is, but I do then go back and reflect. Okay. And that's on us, I think, as women, is we need to step back and say, his perspective could be right. And maybe I need to do that. So that's definitely a work in progress, always for me. I always have to, and he always has to remind me. Okay. Yeah.
Good. So again, owning that there
that
could
I'm
be a different
awesome
perspective.
in every area.
So, okay. What about you, Dustin? What is something we can improve on?
I would say just the trust in each other, not necessarily like something that women have to do, but it could be just both, just having the trust in each other to be confident, like, you know what, if this starts going down the wrong path, then I'm confident that they're going to take it the other way. Or, you know what, maybe I'm wrong. I'm going to trust that they're right on what they're doing and just sit back and kind of watch it grow. And then if you see something happen, then kind of redirect and go there. But just the trust in each other to, you know what, maybe they are right. Let's try it that way. But it's hard with 2A personalities.
Yeah.
Like, no, we're going to do it my way. No, we're going to do it your way. But
Yeah.
just the compromise and then the faith and trust that it'll all work out.
What is one thing that you guys think that you can't, I don't want to say it's like live without, like what do you think that, like Will brings a lot of laughter and joy, where I'm a lot, like I could be serious almost all day, right, in a sense. So what is like a thing that you would say, as long as you have this, you'll be okay?
Like the exact same thing of what you just said. So I'm kind of like the more serious one, kind of more conservative, to where Carrie is just like completely outgoing, social. She's not afraid to walk up to anybody and say, hey, I'm Carrie. This is what I do. I'm awesome. To where I'm a little bit laid back and conservative, like I said. So it's the yin and yang approach, to where we each have our own strong traits. And yeah.
Can it ever be too much? Can we ever be too much, too alpha, too demanding, that we can shut a man down?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I think so, for sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, what would too much? What would be an example of something that might be too much that we would overstep, maybe?
I don't really have any specific examples that I can think of off the top of my head. It's just, but yeah, like just shutting down is one of the things. It's okay. I'm not gonna win this argument, so I'm just gonna go ahead and shut down, and then instead of a communication with each other, then you just feel like, well, I'm just gonna be quiet then.
Right. I would imagine, going back to the communication, maybe not validating that there is another perspective. Might be something that we could do too much of, is just saying, no, it's going to be this way, and not being open to see the other side.
Yeah, and I would just say with the communication is like, how do you feel about this? Follow it up with, how do you feel about this? Or was there anything else that you wanted to add to this, or maybe take away, and then go from there and see what happens.
Babe, anything?
No, I don't have an example. No.
Yeah.
I'll put it. I'm a recovering workaholic. Okay. So if I was Will, from his set of perspectives, I think that I would maybe work too much, right? Like, we've both lost marriages because we've worked so much.
I know you've shared that before, and again, it's really hard because, especially if there's two of you together, you both love what you do. And being that you're in the military, you give your life to serve. And I can see that a big detriment to this is both of us, working in our own realms. Do we have enough time for each other? And making that a priority too.
Yeah. Babe, how do you think we make time for each other?
When I come home and it's 5 o'clock and you're still working, I tell you it's 5 o'clock. And then you're kind of like, all right, yeah, you're right. And then you shut everything down. But just reminding each other that, like, what family time is. And then obviously, with the military, there's some times where it's like, I have to go. So, and she understands that. And just reminding each other.
Go back into communication.
Yeah. Okay, I got a little bit of a juicy question here, so hopefully I don't make anybody too embarrassed. Let's talk about affection. Yeah. Do you like when a woman takes control in the bedroom, on the affection side?
I'm always in control.
I know. No, I'm just kidding. Do you like it when we initiate, or do you want us to be more meek?
Well, I think I need a drink for that.
I know.
Right.
These are the fun conversations.
Conversations for real women and real couples. I mean,
because I'll be honest, I like sex, and I love to be able to be like, let's go. It's time. I'm not afraid to ask for what I need, and I don't know. Does that intimidate? Should I not ask that? Until we've been dating for 6 months or whatever it is, or in general, do you like a strong female? When it comes to that personal side.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'll start off. I think so, absolutely. I mean, everybody loves to be pursued. I don't care who you are at some point or another. But yeah, I It's not an issue for me
Okay.
by any means, but everybody's different.
Will.
No, it's not an issue for me, right? But like, it's not always one-sided, right?
Yeah.
One's not always in control, and I think that's a good dynamic that we have. But yeah, to say, hey, I need this. Okay, I'm gonna give it to you, right? And that's exactly what a partner does. Like,
Yeah.
so
I think it's the give and take in both of them. I think sometimes, it's that ebb and flow.
And let's be honest, because we work with so many, we're in the field we work with career-focused women.
Yeah.
And sometimes I notice that my clients, like, they don't have time to connect. All those excuses come in, like, I gotta send the emails, and then I've gotta make dinner if you've got kids, and now I've gotta, all these things. So it's like, how do you make time for each other? Like, what is one thing that you, and Carrie do to really make time for, 6 kids, for goodness sakes, full-time jobs, full-time careers. What do you do specifically?
Yeah, it's kind of fly by the seat of your pants for us at times.
Sometimes,
but
yeah.
the biggest thing that, one thing that she's really good about doing is, once it gets to a certain time of the night, and if I'm messing around on my phone, she'll take my phone and be like, no, it's our time. Like, it's us time. So honestly, having a schedule is probably like the most helpful thing for us. So try to get the kids down by 8:39, and then her and I have like an hour or two to connect and figure out what's going on, and get ready for the next day, and spend that time with each other. And yeah, that's some of the biggest things. Is just schedule.
Get the kids.
Well, you have to schedule. You have to make it a priority.
Yeah, you don't want it to be scheduled, but at some point in time, like everybody's life involves a schedule. So
Sure.
And I think also, I think it would be, maybe I'm wrong, but I think it would be important for my significant other to know that they're a priority to me. That even though I love my work, and my work is something that I'm very passionate about, that there still is room for them. And that I have earmarked, I have put in a date night or something just for us. Would that be something that is important for you as men, is to know that we've made you a priority?
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
We had a conversation in the gym. It was probably the first week, and we were talking. I was like, I don't know if marriages like last or whatever, or something like that. And he goes, well, when it's the right person, you make it last. And I was like, well, dating, I haven't dated in forever. And do you remember your whole concept of dating? Do you want to share that with us?
Well,
You don't know where I'm going with it?
No, I don't.
Okay, you're not picking up on the signals. He would just say, he was like, I will always date you. I will always make it a point to date you. And we do. We go on dates, and I'm like, well, it's like going out to eat. Like, it's just going out to eat. After you've been married so long, you're just going out to eat. You're not dating anymore. You're just like, oh, let's go grab dinner. But he really is really good with making an experience, right? Like date night tonight. He wants we call it 3-course date night, right? Pre-drinks and then dinner, and then go do something fun. So I'm gonna go whoop him in at Jammers, a local bar, and shuffleboard. Yeah. And even if I have to give him all the drinks to get there, like I'm gonna win tonight.
Yeah.
But
it
make it a
is
point
so
to
important.
date.
And we actually had an entire episode on this concept.
Yes.
And I know this was something that I learned from my parents, is they would, because we had 4 kids in our family, and they would leave on Friday at 5 p.m. So that they would start it off, and it would be dinner, and then they would go for the weekend, and they wouldn't come back until after dinner on Sunday. And it was the same thing. You got together because you liked each other. Let's not lose sight of that, during it. So I think that's another message I would encourage, for all women out there, is to take care of the relationship. You still have to nurture it. It doesn't have to be all about work. You can still love what you do, but you still have to show love to your kids, to your partners, because again, for the team to last, you got to nurture the team.
100%. And and I think another good secret for us would be we're new, right? We're a baby infant marriage here. We're like within the 1 year type thing, and we're learning new things. We're still in that learning phase of, we dated during COVID. So we, a lot of FaceTime, a lot of okay, I'll drive, and come to you, and vice versa. So we didn't have, we've not done a lot of things that most people do before they even get married. I'm like, I love going to the club. We've never danced, we've never even had stuff like that. But what I really like that we do is that, we're like, okay, like I taught him rummy, right? And I love cards, we love playing games, and like we'll just sit down and play rummy. And so that's the little things that we do, even if it's after dinner and it's 2 games, we just keep the tally unless I'm really losing, and then I throw the notebook away, and we start a new one, and because I'm eventually gonna win. But yeah, would you say that we do try and since we are in such infant stages of our marriage, we're still trying to figure out each other?
Yeah, and I think it helps too, right? That unfortunately, that we both went through a divorce, right? So we learned through our previous mistakes, right? What not to do again. So yeah.
Fun stuff.
Well, we're coming towards the close of this episode, and it's just been amazing. Thank you so much. But in closing, I would love to say, what is maybe that one thing that you love most about being with an alpha female, a strong woman?
The one thing I love the most about being with an alpha woman is she knows what she wants, and so it's easy to give it to her.
Yeah, definitely.
Nice.
Yeah.
I was going to say the passion. So along the same lines, right, the passion that goes behind everything that, my wife does. I love it.
It's pretty hard to stop that passion,
It
that
is.
vision.
Yeah.
And we make it really clear on almost every episode. We talk about a vision and a why. And you even, what I love is that for finding a male alpha, right? So the part about that is I'm like, you have goals too. Like you want to jump out of airplanes, you want to do X. Like it's cool to see that you're so driven and our partners are so driven, because then I'm like, oh, I'm not the only crazy one with crazy ideas.
Exactly.
Like I'm like, I would never want to jump out of an airplane. Okay, but that's your goal, and I want to support you just as much to do those goals. So yeah.
I love it. Gosh. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
It's really given us a new perspective to look at, and I feel that I know a lot better on how I can enrich and enhance my relationships with the other sex, and be able to still own what I'm doing, but do it in a kinder way. So thank you for opening up my eyes to a different perspective.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having us.
Thank you, honey. See you soon.
Yeah, exactly. So viewers, thank you at home for being here with us today for this amazing episode and this wonderful conversation. We wish you so much love and abundance in all of your endeavors. Remember, you can catch all of our episodes on motivationandsuccess.com, and you can also catch us on livingrealtv.com. So until next time, keep living real.